What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tour de France, Tour de Beer, a different beer every day of La Tour de France. Today is a video for stages 13 and 14 because we missed a day. That's just sometimes how life is. The attempt is to ride a bike each day of the tour, drink a different beer each day of the tour, and then post a video here on YouTube, as well as giving a quick synopsis on Facebook and Instagram. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am Uncle Frank, as they call me, professional brewer or former professional brewer, now working at a bike shop. I am a certified Cicerone and certified beer judge, and been in the brewing industry for 25 years, so I've got a little bit of knowledge as far as beer goes. Bike riding has always been completely amateur, but I like to talk about bikes and have some fun. So if this is your first time here, I appreciate you jumping aboard. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and tell your friends. What is it that we're going to do here today? Pretty simple. We're going to crack a beer, and we're going to talk about that beer. And we're going to talk about the bike ride that I did today. And then we're going to talk about the stage that went on today. And then we go on from there. Now, since this is 13 and 14 because of yesterday, let's give a quick little history. But before that, what are we riding tomorrow? What are we drinking tomorrow? Tomorrow we're going to be at the Deciduous Brewery. Tomorrow is Sunday. And if you are local and you want to do a little pop-up gravel ride with us, check it out. I will put the link, at least the address and stuff, below to the Deciduous Brewing Company. It's in Newmarket, New Hampshire, and we're going to do a pop-up gravel ride out of there. 10:30 a.m. start. We're going to roll out for a mixed terrain ride, about 50-50, about 18 miles, end up back there probably around noon or so. And if you're into having a pop, we're going to have a pop at the end. So come on out for a pop-up gravel ride at Deciduous. Yesterday was a planned day off of the bike. Was still going to have a beer, but I ended up having cocktails with friends that I haven't seen in a while to catch up with them, so no beer. Today, we should have been a ride. Rain and knee pain. I can usually deal with the knee pain. I can kind of figure that out, but it's raining, and now I can't even cook my dinner on the grill. That's quite annoying. So, another day of no ride. So as far as rides yesterday and today, nothing. Beer for today's stage, and we'll talk about the beer for the next stage, yesterday's stage and today's stage. Let's crack that beer first so we can sip on it and we can talk about what happened during the stage. So that is what we are into. So, beer for stage 13. Keeping it kind of mellow, we are going to go with a pale ale today. This was actually called Extra Pale Ale. And it's interesting to think about what exactly is extra pale ale. So what I like to be able to talk about is breaking down beer styles, not only what is I'm tasting, let's talk about history of the brewery, of the style, so on and so forth. So this is called Kicker's Ale. It says it's an extra pale ale from Triple Crossing Brewery. Triple Crossing is out of Richmond, Virginia. They were founded in 2014. I believe it was three friends who were looking to try to get a brewery going, probably former homebrewers, or actually I know at least one of them was. And I do find it interesting that one of them was in Newport News, Virginia. I used to work for a brewery called Newport Storm. And when we decided we wanted to expand, well, we were in Newport Storm, we were in Newport, Rhode Island. So where did it make sense to expand to? Newport News, Virginia was actually one of those places. So I'm very curious if that owner ever had our beer. Especially Newport had a Navy base. They had a Navy base, so it was a natural. They already had fans built in. So I wonder if they ever had this beer. So anyway, extra pale ale. Let's see what we got going on here. Hop forward for sure. Notes of citrus, lemon rinds, some fruity floweriness. The taste is juicy. And we're looking hazy here. So you're kind of thinking, all right, well, hazy juicy is usually, hazy juicy New England style IPA or hazy juicy IPA. This says extra pale ale. And again, with extra pale ale, what does that mean? Does that mean we extra dry hopped it or we made it extra big? I used to have a pale ale, and the extra pale ale was, well, extra pale ale. A little bit bigger, a little bit more body to it. This does not quite have that, and it's only 4.5%, which is really nice for a super full flavored beer at only 4.5%. This is super drinkable. It reminds me of a New England IPA, but not quite as intense. You can do Hazy Juicy just pale ale instead of IPA. There's definitely some of those newer hop flavors. Little bit of bitterness, so maybe a little bit of classic hops. Not quite Cascade, definitely not something like Chinook or anything that would be that woody or aggressive, but it's definitely on the floral, more tropical side on the hop perspective. So, again, you can see here, not clear. So on the hazy side, newer companies, always hazy, I guess. Not always hazy. I shouldn't say that. It sounds like I'm kind of giving them shade, and that's not really the case. So, but this is super tasty. Sent to me by my friend Chris, and Chris and I have been doing some beer trading as we're doing the Tour de Beer. So that is that's this one. Yeah. Again, Triple Crossing, Kicker's Ale, Extra Pale Ale, 4.5%. Curious if you've ever had this beer. Feel free to leave a comment below. I've got some buddies in the area. I'm going to reach out to them and see if they've had this beer and what they know about the brewery. But this is very good, and I would say I would probably pair this with some spicy tacos. That's pretty good, because guess what I'm having for dinner? That's right, spicy tacos. Now, spicy, let's talk about Stage 13. Stage 13 was designed to look like it could be one for the sprinters. It looks like it could be one for the breakaway. I found it to be a very interesting stage. We'll talk about it here. If you want really, really good coverage, again, I'm going to defer to Phil Guyman. I've been following him for a while. I find his coverage entertaining, informative, and funny. But I'm going to give you my complete amateur idea of what I thought was going on during this stage. It was good to see Richie Porte jump in the front. He's always been one of my favorite riders. Not Richie Porte, jeez. Richie Porte was one of my favorite riders back in the day. Richard Carapaz for EF Education Easy Post. It was also good to see Tom Pidcock finally make all right, I'm getting up front and I am going to make something happen. Pidcock has been one of the Tour favorites, but just hasn't been able to get there. And just the way I've watching Pidcock over the past few years, I feel like he's the bridesmaid, never the bride. He's either going to get second or you're not going to see him at all. And this was one he's like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to be the drunk bridesmaid. I'm getting up front. People are going to notice me. And he did. And then he fell back. I mean, he was in the mix. He made some really, really nice attacks. But it just wasn't enough. Carapaz was up there, but eventually the breakaway was chasing two riders, and that was Schmidt and Tejada. Tejada ends up getting just a little bit more and pulls a little BMX-style wheelie over the line to be able to get the win for Jayco. So that was a really, it was a fun stage to watch because you didn't know, are they going to get caught? I like breakaway stages. I said, people ask me, what kind of stages do you like to watch? And I like the breakaway stages because, 9 times out of 10, they're getting caught. But what if? What if you're up front? What if you're telling yourself, shut up, legs? What if you don't get caught? And how soon do they get caught? It's amazing how the peloton can grab them with the last 800 meters or whatever. So it is kind of crazy. But this is one breakaway. Jayco, congratulations. Tejada for 2. Pidcock, I think, got 3. I got to double check that. And that helps him out and moves up in some points. Everything else looks the same, so your yellow jersey standing does not change. Mads Pedersen. It's funny, I've talked about the sprinters before. So the bike shop that I work at is a mostly Trek shop. So of course we're looking at Mads. He's riding the Madone, and he's fast. The dude's a beast. I like Biniam Girmay. I want to see Biniam get something. And of course you got Jasper Philipsen, sometimes called Jasper the Disaster. No disaster today. And they were out towards the back, but they went for the intermediate sprint. And at the intermediate sprint, it was Jasper finally getting some points. But it was Mads right there. So he didn't lose too many points behind him. Mads is still leading the green jersey. If Biniam can't get a W, I want to see him get a W and Mads get the green jersey. That's what I'd like to see happen. Who knows if that's going to happen overall. So I'm going to refresh with my beer here. And we will get on to beer number 2. Stage 14 and what was going on there. Again, no ride for 14. I'm really disappointed. I want to do a road ride today, but gravel ride tomorrow. Again, please feel free to join us. And we have a Strava group. So Colonial Bicycle Company is who I work for. Within Strava, we have our own club, and that's where we'll post our group rides. So if you're ever in the area and you want a group ride, Saturday fast group ride, Wednesday less fast group ride, I will say it that. I'm not going to say it's chill. It is chill, but it can be on the quicker side. But the more people that we get, the better that's going to be. And if it organically separates into a fast group and a chill group, or a fast and I want to chase group, that's cool. I mean, that's what we want to happen. We don't want to like break it down into structure or whatever, but we also don't want to rip each other's legs off all the time. Colonial also has an amazing, amazing group of ladies that ride on Thursday nights. So if you're watching this and you're a lady who rides, come on out to Colonial Bikes on a Thursday night ride, led by a few of our ambassadors, and they have a great group. I'm honest, I'm a little jealous of how their group has organized. So that's what's going on for those rides. As this beer warms up a little bit more floral starting to come out of here. And a little bit of grapefruit. Not like grab you like rind, like sourness, tart grapefruit, but a little bit of grapefruit on this particular beer going on here. I am enjoying this. So now normally this is where I'd be like, all right, that's the end of it. But I do want to put these all together. Most of the time the videos, I'm attempting to keep them 7 to 10 minutes. This one's a little bit longer. We are covering 2 stages. So let's talk about the next stage and the next beer, and then what's going on Sunday. Monday will be a rest day, and then we'll figure it out from there. I'll try and throw in some ride footage too if I have that opportunity.